Hey guys and gals, welcome back to Bowser 1, and for today's Bowser 1 Extra video, I'm going to be doing something that I do every year anyways, but I'm going to be doing it a different way, and that is discussing my favorite games I played the previous year. So I'll be talking about favorite games I played in 2023. Normally, I just do a quick Twitter post, like I did last year. My favorite games I played in 2022, number 1, Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope, number 2, Pokemon Violet, number 3, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. But this year, I'm gonna change the tradition, which is I'm gonna be doing a tier list video yearly instead of just a quick tweet. So yeah, um, an interesting thing that I did learn this year was I actually didn't play a lot of games. Like I sat down to make this list, and it was actually like I sat down and I'm like, well, shit, I actually can't remember a lot of games I played this year. And then thinking, I'm like, well, most of the games I played this year, I played like early on in the year, like January, February, March. Um, Now, before I get into the top 5 list, I'm actually going to like discuss the rules, and that is I don't like the game doesn't have to release. It didn't have to release in 2023 for me to be on this list. I just have to have played it for the first time and beat it in 2023. So like I could play an NES game for the first time in 2023, and if I really like it, it can be on the list, even though it released in like 1990 something because it's the first time I played it, it can be on the list. And I also have to have beat the game for it to be on this list, so sadly that disqualifies Mario Wonder, which if I did beat it, I guarantee it would have taken the number 1 spot, but I didn't beat it, so I can't go on this list. And also, I did beat New Super Mario Bros., the first one on the DS for the first time this year, but I'm also not counting that on this list because I have played that game before. Same thing with Double Dash. I do own Double Dash now for the first time in my life, but I have played it before, so I can't count that. So, with the rules set, let's get down to my top 5 games I played in 2023. Oh, and another thing I forgot before I get into the top 10 list, I want to apologize for the shitty quality. I'm filming a computer here because like I don't know. Would you rather look at the game, like the game case, or would you rather look at an image on a computer? I don't know. Uh, the point of the video is me discussing the game, anyways. But I just wanted to apologize for this shitty video quality, because you can see, like, I don't know what it is. They're like flickering lines on the computer. I don't know what the fuck that is, but sorry about that. Anyway, now let's actually get on to the top 5 list. Number 5 is The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. Ranking number 5 and 4 was very difficult because like I didn't know where to put them on this list, and one deciding factor between 5 and 4 was Minish Cap's side quest. But yeah, I just thought I do a little bit of background information really quickly. But anyway, Legend of Zelda Minish Cap is really good. I think it was actually like this was probably like the first game, one new game I played in 2023. Like I played other games, but I'd played them previous years. And this one was really good. Like I think I played this and then I got like a whole Zelda mood for like 3 months. And it was really good. I liked the sprites were really good and like they really conveyed like emotion, and they just had a really cool sprite design in that. And the gameplay was just really cool. It's like a good old Zelda game. Like, you know, the dungeons are really creative, and like the items are really cool too. Like the Link has like this jump ability that he gets later on in the game, and I this game also has like my favorite dynamic between Link and Zelda because they're childhood friends, and I think that's pretty cool. Um, it was just really fun. Like the dungeons were really good, the items were really good, but what does hold it back from being number 4 is the side quests. I mean, there are some good side quests, but then you also have like the miniature figures, which I didn't do because fuck that. Where you gotta like basically collect a shit ton of miniature figures, and that just brings it down a bit between number 4, which I did prefer. Spoiler alert: number 4 is a Zelda game too. I did prefer the side quest to number 4. So Minish Cap is really good. Music's amazing. The bosses are really good. The dungeons are absolutely phenomenal. I really, really do enjoy the sprites. They have a lot of character to them. But this was a really, really good Zelda game, and it kicked me into like a Zelda mood for the first few months of 2023. So yeah, that's number 5 on this list. Now let's get to number 4, which you already know is a Zelda game. Number 4 is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Now, it had the edge in being number 4 instead of number 5 was because I did prefer the side quest. I ended up 100%ing this game, and I didn't do that with Minish Cap. And I just had an absolute blast 100%ing this game. There were some moments that I really hated, like there's that baseball minigame that you have to do for Heart Piece. Fuck that one. That one sucked. But a lot of the things in the side quest in not Minish Cap, Link Between Worlds is really fun. Like, it handles collectibles way better than Minish Cap. Like, Minish Cap has, like, a huge amount of stupid, like, mini trophies that you have to collect. But Link Between Worlds, like, there's these little crab monster babies that you have to bring back to its mother. And that was actually fun to collect and find all of them. And you actually do get cool rewards for doing that. Like, you get upgrades to your weapons and stuff, which is pretty cool. And the dungeons are also really good. Like, before this, like, my only Zelda experience was Majora's Mask, which is my favorite Zelda game and one of my favorite games of all time, and Ocarina of Time. But I really do enjoy, like, older Zelda games now. Like, as you notice, like, Minish Cap's on this list, Link Between the Worlds is on this list. I really do enjoy them. Like, the dungeons are just really cool and really fun. Like, my favorite part of any Zelda game has to be dungeons. And in this one, they're really creative. Like, I think one of them that I really remember was, like, this ice dungeon. I don't remember a lot about it because I did play this game back in February, I'm pretty sure. But I remember that one was a bit of a challenge, but also a bit of fun. I remember that the bosses are also pretty cool, too. Like, the final boss between Ganon is cool, because Ganon gets to use the ability you've been using the whole game, which is basically you can... you're playing a 3D game, and then you go up to a wall, and it's like a 2D game. You get sucked into the wall, and it becomes a 2D game. And that mechanic is really cool, like, when it comes to solving puzzles and that. And I thought that was really cool, like, how some bosses incorporate that, too. And, just, like, 100%ing it was really fun, too. Like, you have this character, I forget his name, but he's the bunny rabbit guy. And basically, you rent weapons from him, and then you can end up buying them. And after I bought all the weapons from him, it was just really satisfying. And the story was really cool, too. Like, I kind of saw the twist coming near the end, which is basically that there's two worlds, two different versions of Hyrule and Lorule, which are, like, in different dimensions or universes or something. And basically, Lorule, the other dimension of Hyrule, it's like fucked. It's like apocalyptic. It's really bad. There's no hero. And later on, like near the end of the game, I kind of had a suspicion that Hilda, which is like the other universe's version of Zelda, was going to betray you. I had a suspicion, and I was very true about that. But one thing I did not see coming was that rabbit guy I mentioned earlier is actually that world's version of Link. Like, when that happened in the game, I'm like, well, shit, did not expect that. But that was really cool. Like, this game really invested me into the story, into the world, and I had a really fun time beating the dungeons 100% of the game. It was just really fun. Now, let's get into number 3 on this list. Number 3 is Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. If you've been on the channel for a while, you probably know that I'm a big Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I mean, back in my old house, like, it was completely decorated in my room with Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. And I have talked about the series before on the channel, like I think it was my top 6 hardest video game experiences. One of them is the Sister Location Death minigame, which I fucking hate. It took me hours to beat that. But anyway, Security Breach is number 3 on this list. When the game released, I think it was it last year or the year before, I can't remember. I was really excited for it, but I couldn't play it because I don't have like a big PC or that, and I'm not a PC gamer at all. I'm a big Nintendo guy. I'm sure I'm a big Nintendo guy. I don't have a PlayStation 5. I think it was PlayStation 5. I don't think you could play it on the 4. So I was really hoping it would release on the Switch eventually, because they did have the core collection released on the Switch, and it did. I was so hyped when it was revealed in Indie Land. Like, I don't really watch Nintendo Indie Lands, but after the Indie Land, Nintendo released a trailer on their channel, and I was like, yes! Fuck yes! I finally get to play it! And I was so excited, I was messaging my cousin, I'm like, dude, they're finally putting Security Breach on Switch, and he was like, that's gonna take up a shit ton of data. Surprisingly, it didn't, though. and I was very excited to play it. And I had a really great experience. I know this is kind of a controversial take in the FNAF fandom, because a lot of people's like, oh, it's a glitchy piece of shit. But I think the good part about me waiting for it to release on Switch was because like a lot of the bugs were fixed. Okay, like during my entire playthrough, I only had two problems, and it was the game crashed on me twice in the daycare center. That was it. I was pleasantly surprised. Like I was really, really worried. But the game, I had a lot of fun. Like I'm not a big open world game guy, which is a big reason why I like I'm a little bit reluctant to play Zelda Breath of the Wild and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom because it's like really open world. But I really liked Security Breach. It was more structured. Like it was really intimidating at first because like, oh, this is fucking huge. But like I really got handle on the Pizzaplex. And 100%ing this game was also really fun. Like I really did enjoy getting all the collectibles and like the notes and all that. And like it was a really cool like survival game too. Like at first I remember I fucking sucked. I can't remember which section it is, but basically I think it's after Freddy breaks down. You have to run to like the main stage in that. I remember I kept dying by Roxy and I was really fucking pissed. But I think that was like the main point or the only point that I really struggled during the game. I think the survival element is really cool. Like another part that did give me a lot of trouble, but I didn't really get angry about was the Music Man section. That was really cool. Like how basically you have to go and activate 3 breaker switches, but you have to survive Chica and Monty and to get down. And then after you activate all 3 breaker switches, fucking Music Man shows up and you got to avoid him. That section is really cool. Like there are some sections in the game where they really handled the survival element really well, and that's one of them. The game itself is really cool. It's got a lot of character and fun to it. Like Freddy's just like a cool guy. I really enjoyed his character, like how he's kind of like a big brother figure to Gregory. That was really cool. And one thing that I do want to talk about is the final boss, which is something that I really didn't really enjoy. Like I was playing it and I was thinking back to Markiplier's playthrough because that was originally my whole experience with the game before I played it myself was I watched Markiplier's playthrough. It's like he glitched the shit out of the final boss and beat it. I don't know how he did it, but I was struggling a lot with the final boss, and then I was like, oh, can I please glitch the game like Markiplier did? But like eventually, one thing that it's a FNAF game, so there's strategy to it, and basically it's trial and error. Once again, a FNAF game, and I really like that feeling. Like, if it's not, like, insanely difficult, like, you're struggling with something and you get better at it and then you beat it, that's a really cool feeling. And Security Breach does a lot of that, including the final boss, which is probably, like, a big part of the game that I don't enjoy. But I really did enjoy Security Breach. Like, I really did enjoy the fact that you have to, like, go to one area and explore that and survive. It was just really cool. And as a FNAF game, as a FNAF fan who really is only been exposed to like the main games, like the what are they, like click and play games where you sit at a desk and you do things. This was really cool, and I really did enjoy it, and I'm very excited for the Ruin DLC once that's eventually gets put on Switch. But I really did enjoy Security Breach. The story was a lot of fun. 100%ing it and getting all the collectibles was a lot of fun. It was just an absolute blast, and I think it was worth the wait for it to finally get on Switch. Now let's get to number 2 on this list. Number 2 is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Yes, another Zelda game on this list, but like I said at the beginning of this video, I didn't play a lot of games this year. And I was in a big Zelda mood at the beginning of the year after I played Minish Cap, and so I played like back-to-back Zelda games. So yeah, most of the games I played this year were Zelda games. But if you watched anything on the channel at all this year, you probably knew that this was going to be somewhere on this list, because I did do a game review of this year. And this is a really good Zelda game. Like, this is, like, basically my experience with an more open world Zelda game. Like, I consider this more open world than the 2D down Zelda games, or it's more open world than Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time 2. And I really did enjoy it. It was a pleasant surprise. I went into this game because I was in my big Zelda mood, and I was watching YouTube videos online, and a lot of people were saying, like, oh, this is the best Zelda game. This is the best Zelda game. And my favorite Zelda game is Majora's Mask, which has like a creepy element to it. And then there's like a bunch of YouTube videos online talking about how this one's creepy too, and it could be more creepy than Majora's Mask and more eerie. And it's like I'll give it a try, and I really did enjoy it. It was really good. Getting used to the whole open worldness didn't take as long as I thought. It was really cool. And another thing I was kind of worried about was you had to swing the Wii remote for the sword, but that was actually really, really cool. It ended up having a lot of cool puzzles and mechanics to it. Like there were certain swings and certain ways you could move around the Wii remote, which performed different attacks that, like if you were just playing with a standard controller, you probably couldn't do. So that was really cool as well. And like the big open world thing was really cool because there's lots of places to explore. Like you're just walking around Hyrule, and then you're like, oh, I stumbled upon a side quest. Oh, I stumbled upon a heart piece. Like that is really cool. Just like I remember earlier on in the game, I was just walking around outside of Hyrule, but it was like kind of close to I forget the area, but it's like it's the small town area where the kids are, and it's also where the bomb shop is, where you get the bombs. And I was walking around there, and there was a cliff, and so I climbed up the cliff, and I found a heart piece, and that was really cool. Just stumbling upon a heart piece is like always really cool and exciting. And the side quests in this game are really cool too. Like there's this bug side quest where you got to collect bugs for this lady, and that was really cool too. I still think I prefer like collecting the baby crabs in Link Between World, but it was really cool collecting these bugs too because there was an insane amount of them. There was a normal amount of them. There was like maybe 20 or something like that, so that was cool. And plus, like the map is so huge, so like you're probably not gonna find some of them. So I guess I had to use Google or YouTube in that. But it was still exciting looking them and tracking them down. And then there's also some really other cool side quests that you do. And the items in this game are really, really cool. Like this game, besides Majora's Mask, if you're saying Majora's Mask items, like if you can't count the masks as items in Majora's Mask, this game has my favorite Zelda items. If you can't count the mask in Majora's Mask. Like there is so much cool shit. There's like this spinner that you use, like in this one dungeon, you get like this Beyblade type spinner, and it's really cool. Like you can like spin on walls and shit, and it's really cool. And then there's this ice dungeon with like an abominable snowman type thing, and you get like this big chain wrecking ball type weapon, and that is really fun to use too, especially on the bosses. And then there's like later on in the game, I think it's like one of the final dungeons, you get a double hook shot, or I guess it's called a double claw shot. That is really funny. You feel like fucking Spider-Man shooting on shit. The items in Twilight Princess are so fun to use. So fun to use. And the dungeons are really cool as well. I already mentioned a few of them that I really enjoy, like the ice dungeon. The sand dungeon's alright. That one's really cool, how you can use Link Wolf's form, and you track down the pose, and you kill them to advance in the dungeon. That one's really cool. The Sky Dungeon's cool as well. I did end up getting pretty pissed off in that one earlier on in the dungeon, but it's still fun. And there's other dungeons as well. Like there's this, I think it's the last dungeon, is the Temple of Time, where you have to like use a scepter and move stuff around. That one's kind of cool. I think I prefer the first part of that dungeon where you're like walking up to the top instead of the second part of the dungeon where you had to bring this big fucking statue down. But there's so many cool mechanics and shit in this dungeon. I mean, in dungeons in this game, and it's so cool. Not even talking about the story. The story in Twilight Princess is really, really cool, and it just gets you invested right away. It's like, holy shit. Not to mention Midna, who is a really cool companion, way better than fucking, what's her name? Navi, who's all like, hey, listen. Because Midna actually has character, and you actually end up learning a lot about her, how she's like the princess of the Twilight Realm. And it's really cool. Like, you start off and you're like, man, Midna's kind of a bitch. But then you're like, okay, she's cool. She's cool. And she kind of grows on you, and like Link and Midna kind of grow a friendship, which is really cool to see. And the wolf Link mechanic is really cool. Like how you can like use your senses and sniff shit out is really cool too. And like especially how you can track down pose is really cool as well. And the music in this game is really fucking cool. The final boss as well was really awesome. Like you get the first part where you're basically kind of playing tennis with Ganondorf. That part was kind of meh. But then Ganondorf turns into Ganon, and you fucking got to take him on as Wolf Link. That was really cool. And then the final part of the final boss is like you and Ganondorf. You hop on a horse and you're fucking charging at each other. That was really awesome. And it sort of feels like the perfect way to wrap up the fight, like wrap up the game. It's just like have a one-on-one epic horse battle with Link and Ganon. That was so cool. But Twilight Princess was so good, and I'm very happy that I did end up checking out because I really did enjoy it. And I recommend it to any Zelda fan. Like, I was really reluctant to play it because I was more of like a top-down Zelda fan or like old school Zelda fan. Like, Majora's Mask is still my favorite Zelda, so I was like kind of used to that. But Majora's Mask, I think, in Ocarina of Time, is kind of like the mixture between old Zelda and new Zelda. Because it's got it's got top-down 2D elements to it, but it's also got like that open worldness to it. So I'm a lot more like, I'm not afraid to check out open world Zeldas anymore. Like, I keep getting recommended, you should play Breath of the Wild. You should play Breath of the Wild. Maybe one day I will. I did get what's it called? I did get a copy of Wind Waker for my birthday back in May. And I did play Wind Waker a bit before. Like I didn't ended up doing like the first dungeon in that, and then I got a bit burnt out. But I was given the game after my big like Zelda marathon. Like I had played 4 Zelda games, and then I got that for my birthday, and I'm like, oh, thanks. And I was excited to play it. And I'm like, oh, I kind of burnt out of my Zelda mood. So maybe I'll try to play that this year. Like I didn't play a lot of games back in 2023, but maybe that'll be one of my goals for this year is to play and beat Wind Waker. But it won't be able to be on my 2024 list because I have played it before. So yeah, that's number 2 on this list. And now let's get to number 1, which I guarantee no one will see this coming. Number 1 is Batman Arkham City. Yep, probably didn't see this coming because this is really not a Nintendo game. And you're probably thinking, oh, okay, the Arkham trilogy came on Switch this year. That's probably how he played it. Nope. No, it's not. If you watched my game collection, I don't know what part in my game collection it was, but it was the one where I covered my PS3 games. Yes, I do have one non-Nintendo system, which is a PS3. And it was like a year or two, it was probably 2 years ago, I first played Batman Arkham Asylum, which was really good. I really did enjoy it. And so I was watching this was after my big Zelda marathon. I was watching a video online. It was like the Batman Arkham Iceberg and that. And then that really got me kind of in the mood. I'm like, maybe I'll play Arkham Asylum again. And it was like, you know what? I think I'll play Arkham City. Similar to Twilight Princess, I was a little bit worried about playing Arkham City because it's a more open world than Arkham Asylum. Like, Arkham Asylum takes place on an island, and, like, as you play the game, you advance and unlock another part of the island. And so I liked that. Like, it was more structured. Like, you don't just get set into this big environment. Like, you'll go do what you want. But Arkham City is not really like that. Like, you do get access to basically the whole city right at the beginning of the game, and you can immediately access a few side quests. But the game is very structured, kind of similar to Arkham Asylum, where it's like the game guides you to like where to go next and what to do. And when it does that, it kind of does it in like one spot of the city. Like you do one thing in one spot of the city, and that kind of helps you get used to that part of the city. Then you do another thing in another part of the city, and that helps you get used to being in that part of the city. And so it was really good the way it was structured, and I really did enjoy that. And I really appreciate when games do that, because like I'm not an open world guy. And I really enjoyed this game. It was really good. I still say that I think I prefer Arkham Asylum. Probably because of the structure and just like the way the game paces, I think is really good. But Arkham City is still really good. Obviously, it's really good if it's number 1 on this list. I really did enjoy it. Like when it comes to superhero video games, not a lot of them appeal to me. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, look at these awesome Spider-Man games on PS4. They don't really appeal to me. I look at them and I'm like, they seem a little bit too overwhelming. Like, too open world, and you got too much shit to do. Like, look at all these combos Spider-Man can perform. I'm just like, it's a little bit overwhelming for me. And I guess Arkham Asylum, and I mean not Arkham Asylum, Arkham City kind of had that feeling, but once you got in the game, it was like, okay, this is not overwhelming. It feels fucking awesome. You feel like Batman in this game, and I know like a lot of people say that, like you watch any Batman Arkham video, and people will say the Batman Arkham games make you feel like Batman, and that's because it's very, very true. Like you get into a fight with some thugs and shit, and you beat the absolute shit out of them, and it feels so awesome. There's so many things that Batman can do in a fight, and it does seem a little overwhelming at first, but it's so cool. There's so many cool takedown abilities. Like, you know, obviously you got Batman's fist. You can just straight up beat the shit out of the thugs. But there's also some other cool things you can do. Like, you got batarangs in the combos. You got explosive gels. You have, like, the shock gun. You can even, like, do an epic glide down and smash the enemies on the ground. And then you have, like, the cool stealth takedowns, which are really cool. It makes you, like, it gives you the option. Like, how do you want to be a badass? Do you want to, like, you know, just enter a big fight and guns blazing? Or you want to be like a ninja and, like, fucking take them off one by one? It is really cool how they give you that variety in combat, and it is really good. I really do enjoy the combat. And, like, the overall story of the game is also really good. Like, I think the idea is so cool. Like, how it's like, okay, there's this big part, like, this big city that you're just throwing all the criminals into, and then he realized that how corrupt Sharp is, and that, like, he wasn't the one, like, really behind this, because it was, like, Ra's al Ghul. And then they also have to deal with Joker and all this shit at the same time. It's, like, it feels so awesome. And, like, the thing that happens right before the end of the game, where, like, you know, Sharp is activating Protocol 10, and he's, like, destroying the full city and all that, and you have this epic music playing. It's like, oh, shit is going down, and it feels so fucking awesome. And, like, the side quests, too, were another thing that I was a little bit worried about, because, like, Arkham Asylum doesn't really have that. It just has the collectibles, which I will get to Arkham City's collectibles in a bit. But the side quests I ended up really enjoying in Arkham City. Like, the ones that immediately come to mind are, there's the one with Bane, where you have to destroy the Titan containers. That one was kind of cool, because it wasn't, like, a collectible type thing, because where you went out and seek them out, it was kind of like, as you play the game, you stumble across a Titan container. Oh shit, look at that, might as well blow it up. And there were some other awesome, cool side quests. Like, there's one with Deadshot, and, like, Deadshot's just killing people around Arkham City, and Batman has to kind of track him using his, like, detective equipment, and then you get, like, this stare down with Deadshot, where it's like, if you're in the open, he'll immediately one-shot you, so you kind of have to, like, stealthily get to him and take him down. That was really cool. Like, the side quests in Arkham City are really cool, and, like, they're not as overwhelming as I thought. And another reason I was really worried about this game was the riddles, which are the main collectibles in the Batman Arkham series. In Arkham Asylum, it has, like, a good amount of riddles, like one where it's like you get most of them as you just play the game, and before you complete it, you just go around and get the ones you missed. But at Batman Arkham City doubles the amount of riddles that was in Asylum, and that's where it's like, oh shit, I'm feeling a little bit nervous as a 100%er. But I actually really enjoyed collecting a lot of the riddles. Like, as you play through the game, you can get a good chunk of them. Not, like, nearly as much as you would in Arkham Asylum, but you can get a good chunk of them. And there were some riddles that I actually did really enjoy doing. Like, you get to use Batman's cool equipment to get it all. Like, there's some riddles where you have to, like, glide a certain way to get them. And then there's, like, some where you have to use Batman's equipment in a certain way. Like, you have to freeze the water, jump in, and then you have to use, like, the claw shot to maneuver on an iceberg. That's really cool. Like, they're so creative how you get these riddles, and it's just really, really cool. And they also added the riddle rooms, like, after you get a certain amount of riddles in Arkham City, like, you get access to a riddle room where you can save a hostage, and, like, those riddle rooms are very creative kind of puzzle areas that Batman has to maneuver with his equipment, and that was just really fun, too. The bosses are also really, really enjoyable. Like, most of the bosses in... Like, and one thing that I will say Batman Arkham City does better than Asylum is the bosses. Because Batman Arkham Asylum mainly has, like, one type of boss, and it's, like, the Titan bosses. Then you get, like, a few different types... Well, actually, you get one other different type of boss, which is Poison Ivy, who's, like, the only different one in Asylum. The rest of them are just basically Titans. Like, even the final boss in Asylum, which is like Titan Joker, is just another Titan. But City handles the bosses very differently. They're all really cool and unique. Like, I think the first main boss you fight is, what the fuck is his name? Solomon Grundy, I think. And you have to use your, like, freeze grenades to take him down. And then you shock him. And then the second boss is Ra's al Ghul, who's really cool. How you have to avoid a bunch of different shit and then get in close for the attack. That one's really cool. And then there's the final boss, which is Clayface, which is also really fun and exciting. There's just all the bosses in Arkham City just feel so unique. And that's just really cool. Like, you get into a boss in Arkham City and you're like, I don't know what to expect. That's pretty cool. And it also makes you learn really quick on your feet, which is another cool thing. So yeah. Obviously, I really enjoyed Batman Arkham City, if you can tell. And for most people on the channel, it's probably very shocking that this is number 1 on this list. But like I said, if I did play Mario Wonder, this would probably be a top 6 video. And the order would probably be the same, except Mario Wonder would be number 1. But yeah, so that's my top 6. Top 5 video games I played in 2023. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've tried to make it a little bit better than my past top 10 or top 5 videos. Like the last one I did, which was like the top 5 or something 2D Mario levels, I in my opinion. I did that video in preparation of Mario Wonder because I was really excited for it. But I ended up not. I really don't like that video because it just feels like it's boring. Because like I pick these levels that I enjoy, but I feel like I don't do them justice when I explain them. I just say, oh, this one's cool because there's this specific part. And that's all I talk about. It's like this specific part. And it's like, well, shit. I don't feel like I do those levels justice. But hopefully, with this top 5 video here, hopefully it's a little bit more entertaining than the top 5 2D Mario level video I did. So yeah. Anyway, next week's Bowser Extra video, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Bowser One commentary. So look forward to that because I really enjoy doing Bowser One commentaries. They're like one of my favorite videos to do because like it's just sitting down and me reacting to my older videos and like I give behind the scenes details and it's like it's been a while since I've made those videos, so it's like some of the stuff catches me off guard and like, oh shit, that was really funny. So yeah, so look forward to that. But anyway, thank you guys and gals so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and remember, you're all awesome. Bye-bye.